Why haven't we impeached Joe Biden? I mean, every time I see all these hearings, Ned, all these crimes, everything's laid out, all these whistleblowers. It's not like we have your opinion or my opinion now. We have documentation of it.
Yeah.
And every single time you get one of these Republican leaders in the House on there, and they bend over backwards to talk about how they're doing it the right way. Ned, the right way. They're very interested in doing it the right way. That's really getting us far.
No, they're not. They're gutless. They're gutless cowards, is what it is, Jesse. And the fact of the matter is, I mean, I think what you're seeing play out on the national stage are a couple of different things. One, the left, they're religious zealots. Politics is their religion. They truly believe that they have the right answers for this country. Of course, they're all wrong, but they believe that they need to achieve and hold political power to fundamentally change this country into a vision of their own. On the right, a lot of people go to D.C. and they're careerists. And I think we've got a lot of careerists in the U.S. House right now, in Conservative Inc., who want to go to D.C., have a great 20, 30-year career. You know, what a great time it was, what a lot of experiences we had, and move on in life. And the left is on the move to fundamentally change this country into a creation of their own vision. And until we actually fight back, I don't understand, Jesse. Why can't you impeach Mayorkas? Why can't you impeach Garland? I mean, these guys have done some things that I think it's absolutely staggering. And then you get to Joe Biden. We're seeing a whole list of facts and statistics and documents showing out. I mean, you have to be blind not to see this was influence peddling. This was bribery on the highest level. And yet House Republicans seem to not understand what they need to do next. And it comes down to a lack of political courage, Jesse.
Why don't we have political courage? Because you brought that up. They do. They really do. As slimy as these commies are, they do. Why don't we? Because you're so right. We call them the low-T GOP for a reason. Why don't our guys believe and fight for a cause the way the commie scum believes and fights for a cause?
Because I'm not really sure a lot of people in D.C. that supposedly represent us know what they're fighting for. I'm not sure they know what they believe. A lot of them are corporatists. They believe that somehow they'll continue to get funded, stay in office. For them, being in office is one of the highest pinnacles of their career. But again, I think it comes back to they really do not understand what they're fighting for on a fundamental level. And I think we're late stage republic. I think we have a chance to restore the American Republic, constitutional republic. But there are a lot of different things that I think a lot of people are in office or in power in Conservative Inc. or in the U.S. House. And it's not really because of what they believe. It's just, I mean, Kevin McCarthy, let's face it. Kevin McCarthy, we know he is. He's very transactional. It's about, raising money, getting money, passing it around, make sure he can be Speaker of the House because he's always wanted to be Speaker of the House. Well, that's all well and good, but what are you going to do with political power? And this is one of my biggest frustrations with the right in general. You have to use political power. You are given political power for a reason. It is to use it to achieve your political goals. And if you do not use political power to achieve your political goals, I think the voters are going to question, why did we actually give you any power at all in the next election?
Yeah. Okay, so how do we save it, Ned? I want to save it. You want to save it. How do we do that? Where do we begin?
We start to actually fundamentally restructure the right. And first of all, it has to be about politics is policy. Jesse, I know I've told you this before. I think a lot of people, I call it Conservative Inc. We have this weird ecosystem in D.C., but in various states. It's really about existing. It's about white papers. It's about holding conferences and conventions and all this stuff. It's not actually about achieving political power. So we have to completely restructure the right to achieve political power and then put the right men and women into office who actually believe something, who actually have it deep down inside what they're fighting for, the republic. And a government of the people, by the people, for the people, in which everything that is done at the state level, at the federal level, is to the benefit of the American people and even specifically the American taxpayer. But first of all, we have to restructure to achieve political power and put our time, effort, money into that. And I think, too, Jesse, a lot of that's going to come down to the donor class until the donor class actually gets righteous on this issue and realizes, you know what, me stroking another 7-figure check to Heritage or some think tank, that's not going to save or preserve anything. In fact, it'll make the road back to achieving success and political power that much harder. So I think the donor class has to get righteous. And then we've got to restructure what we're focused on. Voter registration, absentee ballot chase, getting good men and women trained up to run for state and local office, federal office, all of these things. That's a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of doing to get us to that place.
By the way, if you are one of those good men and women wanting to run for local office, and that is how we will save the country, check out this little group. I've heard of it before called American Majority. I've heard they do really great work. Ned, thank you so much, my man.
Thanks, Jesse.
You want to watch our special on George Washington? It's freaking awesome. Well, you can. All you have to do is become a First TV supporter. That gives you access to all of our specials on demand, and it's cake. All you have to go to is thefirsttv.com/support. Thefirsttv.com/support. Become a supporter. Enjoy learning about George Washington.